London in the 1850s is a marvelous jewel of a city. It's also 2.5 million people crammed in a small city with no infrastructure. You had no big sewage system at that point. You had no waste management systems. So think about what would happen if you had a disease like cholera, which requires sewage and clean water mixed together.
The bacteria moves from the human body, but it can only survive if it gets into the water supply and it's transmitted through feces making contact with water. In London, you have a situation where no one knows why this disease is spreading.
In 1854, when there was this outbreak around the Broad Street pump, within a week or so, over 500 people died. 3/4 of the community had fled, so this was a very severe outbreak.
Cholera was this plague that ravaged through Western society that everyone ran from. Jon Snow was a risk taker. He was willing to put his life and his career at risk by going into places where there was cholera.
Jon Snow was one of the first epidemiologists, and what he decided to do was, using the scientific method, try to figure out what was causing cholera in the communities.
Jon Snow begins to construct a map, and he finds that the disease tracked with the map of the water supply of the city, such that areas that were supplied with similar sources of water were being affected, and the neighboring area, which didn't have the same source of water, were not being affected. You could track back this map, and the map looks like a star, and the star has a center, and the center was in his case typically a water well or a common water supply source. And thereby, he began to figure out that it must have been the water supply source that was causing this epidemic.
Look, it's the water that's making people sick.
Jon Snow convinced the local Board of Health to take the handle off the Broad Street pump and then bring that outbreak to a halt. And we continue to use all of these epidemiologic methods today.
By piecing together those clues like a detective, using information and science, he changed the course of infectious disease in the Western world.